Hello, and welcome to the Spirit Tribe Inner Circle Edition. This is number 2. Are we 2, guys? What?
Yes.
We're number 2.
All right.
This is it.
Second one.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Here.
You get to see us behind the scenes acting goofy.
This is the number 2 you don't mind doing in a group.
Oh, help us all. Help us all.
Oh, dear.
Icebreaker.
Yeah.
Truly the inner circle behind the scenes.
That was a little too inner circle.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
my
anyone
goodness.
do anything fun today, or how was your day, or we're here?
We're here. We're ready to talk
It has been beautiful though outside. We just need to. It has been so nice.
Well, that's true.
I'm going to Alaska where the temperature is reasonable. We're feeling, it feels like the end of May. It's so weird. It's the end of May and it feels like the end of May outside for a change here in Arizona.
But we
My
got
mom said
beautiful rain
rained
the other
twice
day.
That's what she was saying. She said
It was
cool.
it was so gorgeous. I opened up my huge window in the living room and just watched it.
Yes,
It was awesome.
We did too.
So I was at the pool when that came down. So we're at the pool and we're watching and we're like, okay, it's really good. And then I get a phone call from an individual that's like, how's everything holding up? I thought, I don't know. I'm not home. But Mother Nature was so nice to send me that test of how well the roof got fixed on
I was just going to say,
Saturday.
did the roof get fixed? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and they were panicking because it was like, oh my God. My sister texted, isn't it nice that Mother Nature gave you that little test to see how it works? She said, test the other side of the house because that's how it came through. Like, okay. And it was vicious. I was like, oh my God.
Thank goodness they got that done. So, well, speaking of feelings, I know we talked about, I think on the last episode or the episode dropping today, that we wanted to talk about the clairs, because I'm not sure, is that a person? People are asking, what is a clair, right? And
Well, it
and
can
then,
be a person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could be a donut too.
An
That's the eclair. That's not an electronic clair either.
No.
Yeah.
See? Now we're catching
when
on.
When we talk about clair, you're spelling it Clairs, clairs. So we're going to talk a little bit today and share the clairs. It's the way you receive your messages. It's your intuition. We all have intuition, right? We all have the ability to receive messages. Clair comes from the French word meaning clear. So it's a clear, intuitive sense. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying that right now. So it's the way we sense things, we get messages, and we're going to kind of go around and just talk about what they are. So if you don't know and you're curious, and also how you receive, like how each of us receive a message. Somebody was receiving a message right there.
Yeah, that was Clairaudience.
It's constant at my house. I need a studio.
So go ahead, Danelle, tell us what Clairaudience is, since you started with that one.
Well, Clairaudience is clear hearing. So there's different ways you hear. It's not like somebody going, Danelle, do you hear me? It can be just your inner thoughts. It can be a voice. I know some of us, have you ever just heard your name all of a sudden and you're like, who said that? Like a lot of times it happens at night to get your attention.
That happened to me today.
Today?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what happened.
I was just walking and I heard my name, Natalie, and I looked around and nobody.
You're like, oh.
Was it that reel with the chickens, Natalie?
Yeah.
That one? Like those chickens. One of us in the group. I don't know.
Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie. Is that Natalie? It was a reel.
Natalie? Is that Natalie?
Is that Natalie?
It was so cute.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So you heard your name. Well, Clairaudience is clear hearing, and it can be your inner hearing, thoughts. Have you ever just listened to a song and you got the message that you actually needed to hear? That's another way of like clairaudience. So, I mean, it can be like repeated phrases that people are saying and you got your message from it. So, a lot of that's clairaudience or just messages in your mind, not necessarily the Natalie, but it has happened. I mean, people do hear. Sometimes your guides get desperate, like she's not listening. Kendra probably being one of them. With they get the 2x4 and maybe call
Right.
your name. So
Well,
I mean,
but that happened right before we logged on here, right? Because I had logged off the studio and then I was like in the what they call the behind the scenes studio or whatever they call it, Frankie. And I was just sitting here. I can see everybody else, but they can't see me. And I'm like, let Kendra in. Let Kendra in. Let Kendra in. And pretty soon I hear Danelle go, should we let Kendra in? I was like, thank you, because you heard me. I'm like, let
clairaudience.
Kendra in. Yeah.
That's a bunch of clairs. That's just not the clairaudience, but that's a sensing. That's a bunch of stuff. So, well, in the clairaudience, which is, I know it sounds weird, but it's both your crown chakra and your throat chakra. So think about it, clairaudience.
And there's spirit playing with us now with her throat
Oh,
chakra.
good. I thought it was just me. Like, Danelle, you froze.
Kendra's like,
Clairaudience.
Turn that right
No.
off.
You said Claire, and then you went like this, and nothing came out. So spirit's having kind of fun with us. We always joke.
clairaudience.
So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily hearing it, is what spirit was just saying from her voice. It's sometimes I say I'm hearing something, meaning where you sense it. You feel like someone maybe is telling you something, but it's not in the way that maybe you hear it, and I think I always find that I feel like I hear from my left side, my left ear. I don't know if any of you have I've started to pay more attention to like what I do, the way I behave if I'm doing a reading or I get a message, and I'm starting to notice some things that go on. So anyone else receive a different way or from a certain side they feel? Or
move on though, but can it be your own voice? Like,
sure.
It's your
Did I
inner,
leave the
it can
oven
be
on?
your
Did I
inner
lock the
That's
thoughts.
door?
exactly what it sounds like.
Did I shut the garage door?
Yes, Natalie, who are you asking?
That's the inner thoughts. Those are the inner thoughts.
That's in my
it's
book,
just,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just noticing. It's noticing. But then, like Kendra said in her book, is that you asking or is that somebody giving you the message?
Right.
Hey, did you shut the garage door?
And that's funny because because I did read Kendra's book and I talk to it differently too. Like, who am I talking to? And I'll have conversations.
It's part of the awakening.
Well, and I think one of my mentors told me, when you read a book, do you hear your
Yes.
voice or a voice, or do you just hear the words? And I'm like, well, I can hear the words in my own voice, but then I can also picture what's happening. So if there's a scene like somebody sleeping on a bed, I'll picture somebody sleeping
yeah.
on a bed while hearing it. So yeah.
So that's a second Claire. Which one is that, Danelle? If you're seeing it,
Clairvoyance.
Julie used to talk about like in the movie
In
camera
the scene.
up here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Part of
clairvoyance.
your third eye.
Yeah. That's definitely your third eye chakra.
And a long
Yeah.
time ago, wasn't it just that's all people said was, oh, they're clairvoyant? They didn't talk about the different kinds of being. Like clairvoyant seemed to like capture it all, like the hearing, the knowing, the feeling, all the things.
I think that's a lot that most people knew was, oh, you have to see that spirit or that energy right there. Here's what people don't understand is, okay, clairvoyance. I don't necessarily see somebody sitting next to their loved one. It may be in my mind's eye.
Mhm.
Most of the time it's in my mind's eye, or I'll get a symbol or something like that. A lot of times I'll see a flash and then I'll get the thoughts in my head. And then I just know. I just have a knowing. So it's really confusing when the clairs come in like that, because you just, I don't know, clairvoyance is, it would be easier if you could just see that loved one sitting there or your
Yeah.
spirit guide, but then it would probably scare the bejesus out of most people. So I don't
Well,
know
that's
if
what
that's
I
good
asked
either.
you when I first met you. I
You did.
whispered to you. I said, "Does it hurt?
You did.
Is it scary?" Because I mean, I live with my husband. I know he's in my house, and if he shows up in a room and I think he's supposed to be somewhere else, I jump 10 feet out of my skin. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
I tell you? Did I tell you, yes, it hurt and it's very scary?
No, you said, I understand that question.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
It just
And
doesn't.
as you become more in tune, you can develop, and there's like 8 of these or more. You can develop different ones as time goes. But for me, when I see something or I'm doing a reading for somebody, it's like it's always black and white. I don't know if you guys, I don't see in color ever in my mind.
Oh, I do.
And
Yeah.
and
do
when
too.
I drop in, a lot of times I drop into people. I was researching this the other day. It's like I can be reading with someone, reading the cards, they're laid out, and then all of a sudden I feel like I've just dropped into their body. I'm seeing through their eyes a black and white like reel of what they experienced, and I'm feeling it in my gut. And then I'll be like, oh wow, like, because I think I know what I'm talking about, but then all of a sudden I feel like I have a flash where I'm in their life for a minute, seeing through their eyes, and it's very emotional. And then I come back out and I'm like, wow, like that's really powerful, or man, that must really have been like horrible, or like it's that moment of watching the video, and I'll explain to them exactly what I saw, and they will say, yes, that's what happened, or that's what's going on. And so for me, it's that dropping in that's kind of weird, and it just happens randomly. It's not something I can necessarily control. So and when it happens, it's really powerful. It's like a connection instantly to tell them, oh my gosh, yes. And then all these thoughts start flooding in with things to tell them. So that's kind of how I do readings. And then too, I don't know, I've noticed this more and more. I'm very empathic. So we talk about, the next one is like feeling, clairsentience, feeling like I'm very emotional. I feel
That's
everything.
I get emotional too. Yeah. But that's when you have a good relationship with your spirit guides or angelic energy, whoever you work with, because you can talk to them and say, okay, you can let me feel it for a moment, but I cannot feel it for 5 minutes. I'm not going to be able to function during this session, this reading.
Yeah.
I need it split. I need it quick. And especially if you feel, if you're an empath and you do feel that emotion, because we kind of learn not to take on that energy of the session, but you have to know what they're experiencing. So I don't know. That's
Hey, but Frankie, we were talking before, and for those listening to the podcast, I think a lot of people who are new to this and who are starting to try to figure out what they're feeling, you were talking about when you walk into a room. I want you to describe that. What happens when you walk into a room? You were saying something about like feeling.
Yeah. Like, so I always notice and it could be from childhood, but I never like to meet eye contact. I very rarely feel like I even look at somebody. So I can meet somebody many times and not really tell you what they really look like, because I'm noticing whenever I walk in, and everything must come through my left side, because right away I want to look down to my right. And as I'm walking into the room, I feel like these little tendrils of feelings branch out. And especially if someone is talking to me, I never seem to really look at them, but I'm reaching out to feel what's going on. So sometimes I'm not even paying attention to what they're saying to me. I'm more feeling things. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah. But right away, it's like I'm feeling the energy in the room. I'm sensing what the person is feeling in front of me. And it's almost like you can tell if I almost sometimes think they're not telling me the truth, but you don't want to say that to somebody, right?
They're not authentic, maybe.
They're not being authentic, because I'm sensing a whole different thing going on, a whole different energy, a whole different part of them. And so then I'll kind of let those feelings. So I've always been I'm more of a, people can say a lot of things, but they've got to show me to do them, because I don't always feel people's words meet their actions. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I just sense that I'm always feeling for what's going on, feeling for the person's energy, feeling for the energy of the room. Does anyone else experience something like that when they're in? I think that's probably why I don't like huge rooms of like a lot. I can have to prepare myself for a room of energy. And usually I could only do it if I'm dancing. Like if I'm going there to dance, I love to dance. I can lose myself in the music. But if I'm going to be social, I don't know. I'm struggling. I like to sit back in the back of the room and be the flower wall and just watch everything and sense and I'm watching what everybody's doing. And I'm the most comfortable there than being in the middle of the room. So I don't know. That's just
I'm the
me.
opposite.
I want to. Okay.
I'm the opposite of you, because for me, I'll hear the words, but then I have to match the action later has to match, or during that time frame has to match the words that are occurring. And sometimes that's difficult for me to filter out all those energies and stuff to know which are mine and which are everybody that's right around me, and figure out what I'm doing at that particular time. And I didn't understand it for the longest time. I'm starting to get a little bit more of an awareness to learn myself and my energy versus other people's energy, because I have to let the majority of it go through like a screen door because of my design being open, and I amplify it so much, so then I can think about it later and say, okay, yes, that was accurate. No, it wasn't accurate, and watch for it from there. Does that make sense to
It
what
does.
I said?
It
Yeah.
does.
And I was visualizing, like, and Shannon, what you're talking about too. I feel like I was visualizing Frankie walking in and sensing the vibration, right? And this goes back to people, we talk about raising our vibration and feeling the vibration, but everyone talks about, hey, what was the vibe there? So you went to that party, Frankie. Hey, you were sitting at that party. What was the vibe? And same thing, Shannon, like you're feeling the vibration of everybody. I don't think I do that quite as much. I'm usually the one in the center of the room.
Is the vibe.
Ridiculous.
You are the vibe, Frank.
But I think that's really smart, because that's probably why sometimes I get so drained, right? I think it's really smart, and I feel like it's more kind of advanced, and it's a lesson I would like to take, is that when I walk into a place, which is why I was so interested in that, putting your feelers out there, right? So I can visualize almost like an octopus, like putting your tentacles out there and feeling like what's going on in this corner and what's going on over here, and then you know where you should be and where you should be protected. And I don't think I've quite learned that lesson. So I think that's valuable to me. It's valuable insight.
Do you read the room? Can you read the room? Because that's part of clairsentience.
I'm not really.
I can.
I can read the room. If there's people fighting like at a table across from me, I struggle to like be there. I've noticed too lately, like the more we do all of this, is the more I'm in the store and people start talking really negative, or they're like complaining about something, or they're in a rush, and I'm just struggling to be in that environment at all anymore. You know, it's just like very disruptive. Like I don't want to be around that. I want to be where it's peaceful and people aren't, you know, in a rush, or I'll be like, go ahead of me. I'm not in a rush anymore to kind of go anywhere. That's just how I'm feeling. And so
that's huge. That's huge.
And I'm feeling more like I'm loving being with myself a lot. Not that I don't love being with other people, but I'm finding more and more, what do they say? The more I'm in love with just my own energy and being peaceful, that when something comes to disrupt that peace in my environment, I'm like, oh, not liking this at all.
I'm following the same. Yes.
And see, this is where it was good when Danelle and I worked together, because I would get the verbiage and stuff like that, and I knew something was a little off, but I couldn't tell. Okay, was it their? I knew it was their energy. I just couldn't figure out which direction it was going and why, or whether it totally involved me, or if it was totally
something else,
issues that they needed to take care of. And so I was like, okay, this is too much for me. The only time I didn't really feel like it was too much was with the clients.
Yeah. Do you think that was just because
whether they were
your
angry,
profession?
Or they were.
Yeah.
That could have been.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had issues for a long time, but I know I had to work on my solar plexus and my heart chakra, which I think that's what clairsentience is. But once I started doing that, and actually Kendra's people told me that a long time ago, you need to work on your solar plexus. And that was just because I was struggling. I would go into a room and I would take it all on. And that was, I mean, it's been a while, but woo.
So talking about the Clairaudience, when I was first getting my Reiki practitioner certification,
yes.
you have to do practice Reiki. So I had Danelle come over to my house and I put her, the house was empty. It was just her and I put her on the table and I started doing Reiki on her. Shh. What did you hear? You said something about, did you have a party going on?
It was this chatter, like there were people, like Paul brought over a bunch of people or something. And I'm like, we're doing a session. Why would there be people in the living room and kitchen or something? We're in a room with in the other side of the house, but it was like chatter.
I think
a lot
that's
of chatter.
when like you were, your guides and your team was trying to talk to you, like your spirit team was trying to get through to you.
They were like, finally.
Yeah. And that's
Well, I mean,
sometimes
I
it's
had
hard
it,
to
but-
understand because all you hear is chatter, right? Do any of you ever, I had like a radio station. That was how I started learning. It sounded like a radio station was in the car, like with a lot of static. I was like,
well, that's kind of what it's like when you got to turn the dial until you can actually hear it. And you're not really
Tuning
able
the
to turn the
frequency.
dial. Yeah. Until you start doing those practices of grounding and some meditation, breathing, yoga, something to quiet the chatter. And that gets that tuning to where you can hear it or feel it or see it or whatever your clair is.
So one of our mentors had us, Julie, she told us like we all have spiritual gifts. Everybody has spiritual gifts. It's a matter of tuning into the frequency to learn them. She also said she had us really do kind of a deep dive into learning ours and which one was stronger. And so I don't know about you, Danelle, but Shannon, you don't see, right? Are you the one who doesn't see pictures? You smell or something, don't you?
Well, now, when you talk about pictures, I see things in pictures, and I see things.
Okay.
So, like,
Right.
remember when you're sending the pictures when you sent the pictures from your trip to Sedona, and I spoke to
You
you
saw
about what I
faces.
saw in there, and so I will get messages for myself as well as for other people in stuff. So that comes to me. I also have Clairaudience. I smell, so I'll get smells, and which is great at times. But if I'm in the house trying to figure out if that's something that I need to take care of, or if it's, and when I would come back
Is the house burning down?
Camp Chesterfield or something, I'd have to ask Danelle, you smell that? Smell anything? Be like, nope. I'm like,
No,
okay.
I don't.
Because, until I could get, so sometimes I will get that sense that's how for somebody that's I'm supposed to give a message to, I will get a strong smell of something, and I just incorporate that in there because I don't know what it means. Just like anything else. I haven't. My main one is the Claircognizance, but other stuff is starting to click open for me, flashes at times and so forth. So I used to not see color either, but I'm starting to get more things in color. And I think that's also because of the work I've been doing with Janet as well. So things like that.
So claircognizant is the knowing, right? Sorry.
The clair knowing.
I was going to say, explain that, Shannon, when you say that to people.
Well, okay, so, and I didn't realize it until Danelle and things were pointed out and stuff like that. So, especially, I get information that I know I don't recall seeing anywhere or reading anywhere, but yet it's coming in a download on something that I'm talking about, or if I'm in a workshop or doing something like that, and I may have my presentation set a certain way, and the next thing you know, nope, talk about this, and I switch that way. That happened at the retreat that we did at your house that time. I never know who it's for necessarily. Sometimes I do, but other times it would be like, okay, this is what you're going to do. And that's how my readings come about as well. For like when I'm doing, if I do a human design reading for somebody, it starts out like astrology, and it evolves throughout. So, and I get the words to say, tell them this. Tell them this.
Just comes out. Mm-hmm.
Ask this. Mm-hmm.
And it's quick. It can be, especially clear knowing, claircognizance can be so incredibly quick that's how you can tell the difference, because when we're thinking ourselves, it's a little bit of a process, but all of a sudden your first inner gut.
Well, she froze again.
I know, right on the F.
You're cut off.
Gut, throat. It's all about physical things. I guess.
But do I look like this?
You did.
Oh, you look like this.
Great.
Yeah, that's how you look.
Wonderful. I don't even know what I was saying, but it was the claircognizance.
Yeah.
There's also
Isn't that the way we normally go? Oh, I forgot.
There's also the clairtangency, which is like, for some that might know, psychometry, where you can actually hold an object, and you can get. So I also can do a little bit of that at times.
Would that be the same as touching a person too, or is that?
It can be. It can be touching a person, a thing, and sometimes it can be going certain places. I think, isn't that clairtangency? Like you've been there before.
Oh,
I didn't even know. I mean, again,
I do that a lot.
I thought it was all clairvoyance, right? So I mean, I started learning about the different types of the clairs, but I didn't know that touching an object
you could
had its
get
own name.
Psychometry. Yeah.
Clear touch. I definitely don't have that.
And you can have more than one, right?
Oh yeah.
You can have a combo of all of them. Here's the problem: is like the clair knowing. Am I freezing?
No, not yet.
No, you're not.
The clair knowing can be really confusing because you question yourself. How did I know
Constantly.
that? And then, like Shannon just talked about, the downloads. Sometimes when we're sleeping, this is why it's important to get your sleep, because sometimes that's when downloads come in. And then, like, I don't know how. I told you guys this before, but for years I just thought I was brilliant. No, it was downloads that wasn't me at all. I thought I'm smart, but no, some of the stuff was just like, boom.
Yeah. You have to keep that paper and pen by your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing too, for the ego part of us, we're in a society that people want proof. If you're going to talk about stuff like we're talking about, or any type of development, anything that implies a higher education, then they want to know what your PhD, your master's level, your college, all that kind of stuff. You can get the best messages from the person next door.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Never went to college or anything like that. So the messages are going to come to you in any format, from anywhere, and it could be at any time. And that that's what's wonderful about everything.
I think it is.
Yeah, go ahead, Frankie.
I was just going to say, it's about, we talk about, everybody has these gifts, and they're your intuition, right? They're telling you to move to the left, and then the truck in front of you like has an accident, or it's you go to the store and you think, oh, I should pick up butter or something, like says butter, and you're like, I don't need butter, but you get home and you needed butter, right? It's that sleeping really good and having a problem, and subconsciously your mind works it out in your spirit team, and we'll talk about more about spirit team and spirit guides in another episode, but it's about waking up in the morning with a clear answer to whatever your problem was, right? And so that is all your intuition. That's all messages from a higher power, a spirit guide, someone trying to guide you in the right direction in your life and help you.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
said that, because we all have this, and I think we have done this since birth, so you don't always think about it, but so many.
No, because sometimes people smell roses and don't understand why there's roses when they're in their car. It's
Right.
That would
probably
be
a loved
Shannon.
one. Yeah.
So the thing, the issue too is, depending on what you believe, think about this. If you believe in reincarnation, so I understand some people are not going to, but for those of
Another
us
show.
that do believe in reincarnation, we set ourselves up and we provided ourselves tools in our toolbox to fulfill our life purpose at this time frame. And we are linear, and life is, the universe does not work linear. It's quantum. So we have all kinds of different things going on at the same time. It's just that we can only see at the 3D level. So while all this is going on, and we came in with these tools because we wanted to complete our purpose. We just need to remember. And the difficult thing is all of us have it because we are spirit. We're just dense at the moment in this body. We can't figure out how to get our body to remember that we have all these gifts,
These abilities,
to
do how to use
you
them.
know,
And
that
and
we
one
have
of the
it
things
backwards
that,
on what we're looking.
well, I think we all have it backwards just because we don't know, we don't recognize that, okay, that may be an ability that we're using. But one of my things, we all receive differently and at different times. You know, Frankie just mentioned how she can almost go into the person and see it from their eyes, and then boom, she's right back, and then she's able to give them the message. Well, that's a way she receives, and it had to be at that moment. You don't know when it's coming, but we all come in, okay, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, we all come in for our own reasons, and we come in with some stronger abilities depending on what realm we came from the other side. That's another show a couple
10
years
shows.
from now.
10 shows.
But sometimes some are stronger, and then all of a sudden you may feel a different energy around you because you have a new guide going, here's another ability. And you're like, what the hell is this? I can hear dogs? What is this?
So I just want to.
It's just my house.
Yeah, I want to go back and touch on something, and I think we touched on it on the last Inner Circle show, and we've kind of touched on it a little bit today about receiving messages, and they come from all different ways, and it's, getting signs and symbols and messages. And so two things. One, somebody said something about the guy next door. I think, Shannon, like it might be the person next door. It can come in a parking lot, because yesterday I was going through kind of a tough day, and I had my mom at an appointment. We were waiting for the person to unlock the door, and we're standing outside, and my mom just says, on this situation, I'm thinking this. And literally she caught me off guard, and I was like, wow, Mom, thank you. And it was almost like someone was speaking through her. Maybe, her angels were coming through to her, to me, to give me this message, because it really helped me process some emotions that I had been going through. And another person who gave me a message a couple of weeks ago, I had the pleasure of meeting Natalie's mom. We were at a psychic fair promoting the show, promoting the app. And Natalie's mom came in. And what a wonderful soul she is. And she just said to me so strangely, she said, Kendra, I was thinking about you this morning. I have never met her in person, but just on the show.
Wait.
She's like, and this is what came to me. And she gave me a message about following a show, like watching a YouTube show. And so I've started listening to that, and it's really resonating with me. It's just these hearing the messages. They come from all over the place, and it's hearing them and recognizing them. Mom, thank you, because I could have just ignored her and pretended like I didn't hear that. Or Natalie's mom could have said this and I could have been like, yeah, okay. No, these are important messages. And I was able to recognize these are messages for me.
Mhm.
I think the general public, it's just a matter of, and what is it Eckhart Tolle says, right? Like being in the now, being present.
And
That's
I think
right there.
too,
Mm-hmm.
the messages can be anything, like, and the thing, part of it is interpreting them, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you might see a butterfly, but a butterfly might mean nothing to me. And it's overcoming that ego in your mind to say, I need to say this. Or I'll tell this story. Yesterday, I was at the end of door dashing, coming out of the dollar store for my last DoorDash. There's this guy. He's coming out of the store. He's got all of these bags and it's hot and he's starting to walk and he goes, I don't know if I'm going to make it home. I'm like, I have 2 DoorDashes to deliver. It's the end of the day. I could go about my business, but something nagged me and said, you're going to offer him a ride. I walked over. I go, where are you going? He was like, just around the corner. I go, get in the car. So he gets in the car. He sits in the car. I don't even think about it. He's breathing hard. I said, do you have asthma? And he said, yes. I said, right away, without even thinking about it, do you have an inhaler on you? And he was like, yes. And he looks in his pockets, he grabs it. I goes, you need to use your inhaler. Like, it wasn't even me saying, like, I was, and I said, I am a nurse, but like, it just happened so fast that I said these things that I was like, why am I even asking him this? I don't even know this guy, And
Minding your business, and it's just coming to you.
It's coming, and I'm like, I'm going home from my last DoorDash. Where do you live? And he could barely breathe, and I go, that's why I said, do you have an inhaler? And I'm like marching off these orders like a doctor wrote them out, and I'm reading them from a paper. And I was like, this is so weird. And then I'm like, okay. And then he like got me there, and I said, I had a bottle of water. I gave it to him. I said, you should be out in the morning. It's, you shouldn't be here. I was giving him this whole lecture. And then I dropped him off and he just said, God bless you. And I always say, if you can pay it forward to someone but it's just those weird coincidences that aren't a coincidence, but they like, I happen to be there. He happened to need a ride. I happened to remind him to use his inhaler because I don't even think he would have used it. So it's those things those are messages. Those are your intuition. And I implore you to trust them, because I think that's the biggest thing when you start reading cards or you start this, I don't know how to do it. It's none of the tools we use, runes, cards, any of that have anything to do with the technical meaning of the tool. It's a tool. It's all about the messages and trusting that you are supposed to deliver this message to somebody else and they need to hear it. So whether it makes sense to us or not isn't really important. It's overcoming that ego to say, I really need to see if this person is willing to receive this message I need to give them. We always implore you to ask permission before you just blurt something out. Someone may not
Except
want
that
to.
you didn't. You just said, "Do you have an inhaler?" I think that's beautiful.
I was like, doing
it was. I think we're put in places to help people.
Oh, I think
no matter
so.
what your background or belief, we are put in places to help people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you said, Natalie, you heard something on a podcast about the Clairs, or what did you want to add in?
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the Clairs and how to identify yours. And they started talking about how to identify others, like your coworkers, and why it would be important to even know what your coworkers' Clairs are, which I thought was fascinating because I didn't think that much about mine, and why would I think about my coworkers? So there was a little bit of psychology in all of it too. I found interesting.
Well, Shannon and I
Like
have a story
mirroring
about
your-
that. Shannon and I have a story about that when we were at Chesterfield one time, and her understanding maybe one of my Clairs, because one of them is actually Clair empathy. But I was having like a breakdown because I was being told something that I needed to do, and I didn't want to be the center of the room, Kendra, dancing or whatever. And I was having something like that, Natalie, like if you understand this person needs to be, Frankie can't come out tonight. She needs to be at home. She needs to recoup. So understanding somebody's Clairs can help them, and you not take things personally, like, what's wrong with Danelle? Why is
So
she?
that's where you would want
Yeah.
to know your coworkers, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah,
fascinating.
because
I
Danelle had to
agree.
explain that to me and let me know that it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
and being able
wasn't
to
understanding.
Yeah.
well, and that being able to communicate with people, so to communicate with people, like mirroring them and building that trust was part of it too. And like you said, you would have been offended if you didn't understand that Danelle was feeling that way. It wasn't
Well, I
about
think
you, it
she
was about
understood
her.
it later on. And in
Mhm.
the moment, she was just trying to walk me through something that she wouldn't be, that I wasn't able to walk through. I was
Yeah.
going through whatever it was that,
I was trying to give
when
her
you're,
support,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
it was not going to happen at
It
that
was
point
Well,
not
in time. And
well,
then
happening.
look at
that,
it
and I was
this
like,
way. And I'm like, I don't care if it's upside down. I still
It's
feel
wrapped
it.
in $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about this. So if you're an awfulizer, or that's all I can think of as an awfulizer, for instance, and you get a
okay,
vision or a knowing.
What is
Like
that?
when,
Can you
like
help
when
me
you
out?
when you're thinking of, it's like when you think the worst is going to happen,
Yeah.
you see these visions that maybe not be
Yeah.
great, and it's
Call that a
just false.
pessimist.
It's just like it's a false message maybe, or how do you just differentiate that knowing is real, or is it just something your mind is tricking you?
okay. Sorry,
Are they
Natalie.
separate? Is it ego? Is it not
yes, Shannon.
related?
Shannon, please jump.
No, please say.
Natalie,
Yeah.
what was the word you said again?
Awfulizer.
God bless you.
Did I
I've
make up
never
this
heard
word?
that
It's
word.
got to be a real word.
I've never heard it before, but it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I
Like
think it's
awful.
I think it's like a psychological term, like when you just
I believe you. I just
you're
didn't
just gonna-
understand what you were saying. I was like,
yeah, like you
Either.
the
I thought
worst.
she was saying
worst.
awfulizer as in the most awful thing. So, and
That's what I'm
I think that
saying.
is what she is.
Yeah.
I thought
I
it was
thought she was
slang.
saying, like,
I
I
made
thought-
up a word.
I thought it was slang.
love it.
So
I'm like,
maybe
did she
it
say
is, but
philosopher? Yeah,
no, like awful, like
I love that.
nothing is
awfulizer.
wrong right now, but I am going to think about how awful something can be, right?
Well, that's several things. That's several things.
Yeah.
That could be, okay, yes, you're right.
And
That
I'm not
could
saying
be
like just
intuitive.
saying us people.
That can be intuitive. And that's when you talk to your spirit team going, if I can't do anything about this, please don't show me this, because I'm already a worrier and I already have gut issues. So I don't need
Yeah.
any more bleeding ulcers. So don't show me any of that. And that's when you need to get your sleep and you can talk about whatever it is that I'm experiencing right now. It's going to work through. I'm going to relax. Meditation helps with it. Sleeping helps with it. But some of it, if it keeps coming back, we just need to pay attention.
Well, think of it like we all have kids and they're driving. So, and they're going to come home fine. Everything's going to be fine. But like
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
two
what
are
I'm.
both
That's what I'm
doing it.
talking about. Yeah, and you're like, stop. This did not happen. Like,
so remember,
yeah, and
that's true.
knowing.
It's putting that energy out there. So the more you think about it, the more it's out. Oh, she wants this to happen. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
let me work
Right.
on that
Shift.
for her.
Shift
Yeah.
that thinking quick. Shift
Okay.
it.
So,
But how do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
well,
Right?
this is what I would
It's like
suggest.
6
I
a.m.
don't remember exactly how she worded it, but one of Rhonda Byrne's books, whether it was The Secret or The Power, whichever one it was, I remember something about horses, right? This sounds crazy, but this is just what stuck from the book. When you start having those negative feelings, she said she thought of them, or my remembrance of it is that she thought of them like wild horses. So you start thinking about, panic, fear, anger, like these are like negative horses. And so what I got from it was I started visualizing a stampede of all of the opposites, right? So of excitement, joy, love. What are you grateful for? Like that, coming up with the things that you're grateful for is the best way to dispel fear and negative emotions and negative thoughts. Like okay, I'm grateful she has a car. I'm grateful she has air conditioning. I'm grateful that the roads are in good condition. I'm grateful that she can, drive here. And so two things. One, do switch those emotions, have a wild stampede of horses come and overrun the negative ones.
Yeah.
And the second thing is what Shannon's getting to, which is visualize. Visualize your kid getting wherever they're going on a safe journey and having no traffic, no weather. It's just visualize that so that then you're like creating, manifesting, dreaming. I have no video I'm doing on that. Yeah.
And then you have to let it go because you put it out there. So,
Yeah.
and what I mean by that is you put it out there nicely, but then if you keep thinking about it, somewhere along in the mix, you're going to have a negative connotation to something. So then the universe is going to be kind of like, okay, I need to adjust. So think about it, put it out there, let it go.
Yeah. Don't try to control it.
No, and like we talked about in the life coaching is like we talk a lot about it, giving that negative voice a name, right? And so when that negative voice comes in, you tell that negative person that you don't want to talk with them, right? It's also like, where did you get that negative belief from? And is it really true? Like, is this a true belief? Like, is this really going to happen? And what is the opposite of that? We talk a lot about that. So instead of, like Shannon said, instead of thinking that, switch it around to be the opposite of what that negative belief is. Because again, it's exactly what Shannon said, is what you think about all the time, whether it's good or bad, is what you bring more of. So it's that change that takes a long time, but there are feelings where I can say there's been a time where I was in Alaska in this situation and I had this gut wrenching feeling that I needed to leave right now, like an emergent feeling. I need to go. I need to leave right now. There have been times where I've had that feeling that there's no explanation for it, but I just know that I need to trust what that feeling is. So whatever, if you do have those feelings, and like I tell people, when you walk into a room or someone asks you for a favor, talk about this in the life coaching course, and all of a sudden your heart clenches or your gut clenches and you're like, oh, those are your intuition talking to you. So why do we ignore them? Somebody's taking you to look at houses and you walk in and you're like, right away, right away, right? Right away, if you don't like somebody or you like somebody, right? But then we go, oh, well, we got to give them the benefit of the doubt or not. But those feelings, those alarms aren't they always? I mean, I have to say mine are usually 100% true. And even though I override them mentally and say, oh, I can make this work, or, oh, they're going to be okay. Never fails that first reaction was the truth. So, and think about when we were younger and kids, like kids see ghosts, they believe anything is possible, right? So if you don't have these belief systems instilled in us by our parents, by our religious structure, by friends and family expectations, we probably had a lot of gifts as a child that we didn't pay attention to. Or I know a lot of people have said that they've been told not to talk about them or to ignore them, right? Or they get afraid of them and you can shut your gifts off for a while. Gifts can come and go, especially if you develop them and work on them, they will expand and grow. But you can also push them aside and say, I don't want anything to do with this right now, and they'll shut down. So it's like anything else, the more you practice, the better and bigger they become, right? And the
all
same
about
with
awareness.
Awareness. And like Shannon's taking courses, any kind of course on mediumship, those require year-long courses of study to really become open. And I met a reverend she said, I was the biggest doubter that there's no way I could become a medium. She's like, and it took her like a year or two. She finished the program and she said, and if I can do it, anybody can, she said, because I was the biggest doubter that there was no way spirits were going to talk to me. And so it's just that trusting, it's overcoming those beliefs, it's practicing, it's it's just a lot of things. So you can develop these gifts. We all have them. Some people might have a little more gifts naturally than others, but we can all gather. I mean, Natalie, since you've been doing more things, taking classes since I've known you, 3 years now, gifts have you encouraged or grown? What can you share with someone who's new to this, who's saying, I'm not going to learn anything?
I can't do it. I can't do it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, it's been learning how to slow down and listen. It's that the meditation, meditation, slowing down, listening. Like Kendra's book, what is it? Talking to say it. It's something about prayer and listening.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
Oh.
if you're praying, I say if you're praying, like you're usually talking to your spirit team. If you're meditating, I call that like listening to your spirit team. So it's kind of the difference. You have to be in silence. And I would tell my mom the same thing, because when she does her prayers, she sits and then she just stares out the window. And I'm like, okay, but then when you're just staring at the window, looking at the clouds, you're listening.
Yep.
Yeah.
She sure is. And we don't mean meditating like for hours, or you have to be on a hilltop or go. I mean, let me give you an example. I was at the time I had a young one. He's now 16, but I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go meditate. And I sat in my chair in the living room, and that's where I did it. And it was my time. And I remember my husband coming in and tapping my shoulder like, honey. And I'm like, baby, I told you I was meditating. And he goes, but your eyes were closed and you were sleeping. I'm like, no, I was meditating. He pictured me in the middle of the living room chanting and
mantras,
which you can do. That's a form. But he didn't know that was meditating, just as, and there's different ways of doing it. I remember him talking about mountain biking and how he goes, sometimes I don't want earphones. I just like to hear my tire on the dirt. And I'm like, that's your form of meditation. That's your form. And he's like, what? Yeah.
I'm also talking to birds more and trees, and
I like this.
And being in the now.
My grandmother in the house, or
See, I love that.
So you're really learning to listen, to receive, to notice the symbols and signs. And do you get any smells? Be in the present moment.
Yes, I do. I do get smells. And I've always, I feel a lot, but that's not new, that feeling.
Right.
What about vision? Can you picture things easily?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was talking about with my question. Like, how do you know that it's real, or your mind's just going crazy? Like that was a real question.
Well, part of it is we are human, and that
your ego.
What do they call it? Your egoic mind, that monkey mind will step in.
Because I'm creative too. Like I can
dream up some crazy.
So Natalie, I've had some experiences with that, especially when you have young kids. Danelle and I both had kids that went off into hostile environments. And, there's, as a mom, like there's that fear that something can happen. But I just shifted it around, and I asked my spirit team and angels and protections for my son. And
I love that.
Yeah.
I remember.
So if you get a vision, then I would just like turn it around, and like I said, visualize the positive thing and ask for protection, and whatever your spirit team is to you, whether it's angels or guides or loved ones on the other side, or whatever your spirit team is, I believe they're a combination of them all. Just ask them to kind of be with that loved one. So, but I like what Frankie said too, which is if you get that gut-wrenching feeling, and somebody just said this to me today too, if you feel something in your gut that you shouldn't be somewhere, or that this is happening or that's happening, listen to your gut too. So it's that awareness. And I think it just takes practice and asking your spirit team, is this real? Like Danelle is classic for asking for a gazillion signs. Like, okay, so if this is a real thing, show me the color green. If this is a real thing, I want to see a ladybug was the last one, So
after
that way
15 times, I believe it.
Yeah. So then maybe that's a good way to distinguish.
Like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, one of the last times I did it, I said, okay, I want to see some point in time some cute little lizards.
Oh.
And at the end of the day, I saw coming out from work, saw a cute little lizard dart off. I was like, all right, Okay. You're listening. I'm listening. We're good. Now, I'm going to say what's interesting is I stopped drinking soda several years ago. And I bought a soda on Sunday with my lunch. And it was a Sprite. Now, the reason I find that interesting now I think back about it is we recently discovered a friend that had passed, and that person's cat's name was Sprite. And I used to always tease and say, you know, I was like, ooh, you know, because I was thinking about timing and stuff like that when we were thinking about stuff. But that's the drink I decided I would have on Sunday. So you get messages at different kinds of time frames that sometimes you have to go back and think about, or sometimes you might receive a message from somebody and you discount the medium that's giving you the message, or the person that's giving you the message, because you don't understand it at the moment. But then you think about it, and it comes to you. Danelle told me about something that I had received 5 years before, and I went back and she said, Shannon, you were told that. And I went back and I looked and I was like, oh, yeah. So I had to call that medium and say, look, thank you very much. This was accurate. So they don't know time is different.
Right. So you mentioned earlier about going into a place and knowing you've been there before.
Yeah.
Deja vu. Is that a Claire?
That's a definite Claire. But well, I mean, some of it,
Does it have a name?
Well, that's why I said it
could be
like
a past life.
It's like it could be a past life. It could be part of psychometry where you're actually there and you're like, I know this place, or you touched something, or you see a person, or they hand you something and you're like, oh my gosh, I know them, or you just feel a connection. That's a bunch of different Claires, but yeah, being somewhere. I mean, there may be a reason why you guys like to go to New Zealand or Alaska, or it's infinite, the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, past life regression could be a whole nother show too, because that would be fun. We can get someone on to do.
You know, I saw a reel just last night, and you were talking about being somewhere else. I saw a reel last night, and this goes back to what Frankie was saying about children. I have so much to say, but I'm going to cut that piece out and cut it shorter and just jump ahead to the reel that I saw. Was this little girl. She was probably 5 or 6 years old, and she's talking to her mom about things that she used to eat. And she would say back in the old day, and she was talking about how what their tables were like. They were, and she said, and her mom was like, well, when was this? And the little girl says 1954.
Yeah.
So this girl was going back to 1954, and I don't think she was old enough to make this stuff up. Like, she was little, and I believe that she was reliving a past life, but crazy that she knew the year.
Well, the kids coming in now are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, they just know things.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow. It's pretty incredible.
It is incredible.
True.
Well, I want to thank all of our listeners. If you have comments about this, if you're not following our YouTube channel, a little bit of kindness, please do. You can drop comments about this. We do check the comments, and we'd be happy to answer questions. We're also always looking for new topics, although I think we have a whole bunch we mentioned tonight for future shows. So,
I know, right? Yeah.
If there's something you want to see in the future, please drop it in the comments. Let us know. Anybody want to add anything else before we close off tonight?
Not that I can think of.
But a little
subscribe
wherever you go.
Yeah. Well, have a great night. Subscribe, like, and sprinkle a little kindness wherever you go.
Yay. Buttons up.